President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi swears in 4 new heads of Egypt's top judicial bodies in the new main city. Egypt to host the first official G20 food security meeting in September. Egypt signs the final contracts for $658 million phosphoric acid complex in New Valley. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi swore in 4 new heads of Egypt's top judicial bodies in New Alamein City. The appointees include Asim Abdel Latif as the President of the Court of Cassation, Osama Shalabi as the President of the State Council, Hussein Matkour as the head of the State Lawsuits Authority, and Mohammed Khalil as head of the Administrative Prosecution Authority. The President also awarded the First-Class Order of the Republic to their predecessors in recognition of their service to justice. During the meeting, President al-Sisi reaffirmed the importance of upholding the rule of law and judicial independence as pillars of Egypt's new republic and praised the judiciary's role in protecting citizens' rights and strengthening legal institutions. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has departed for Seville, Spain, to represent President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi at the 4th United Nations Financing for Development Conference. Accompanied by the Planning Minister Rania El Mashat and the Finance Minister Ahmed Kujuk, Madbouli will join the world leaders, including the Spanish Prime Minister and the UN Secretary General, at the conference's opening session on Monday. He is also set to speak at the launch of the Seville Platform for Action and deliver Egypt's address during the general sessions. And Egypt is set to host its first official G20 meeting focused on food security in early September. The Minister of Foreign Affairs announced that its presidential representative and Assistant Foreign Minister, Raghi El-Tribi, has finalized the agreement to host the event, marking a historic first since the G20's founding in 1999. The meeting will address food security challenges at both regional and global levels, a top priority for Egypt, African nations, and developing countries. Discussions will focus on sustainable agriculture, industry localization, trade enhancement, infrastructure development, technology transfer, and financing mechanisms. Egypt has strongly condemned the terrorist attack on a military convoy in northwestern Pakistan, which resulted in casualties and injuries. In a statement by the Foreign Minister, Egypt reaffirms its rejection of all forms of violence, extremism, and terrorism, expressing full solidarity with Pakistan during this tragic time. And the statement added that the Egyptian government extends heartfelt condolences to the Pakistani government and people, as well as wishes for a speedy recovery for the injured. Egypt's Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati has met the EU Special Envoy for Middle East Peace, Christophe Bigot, to discuss Egypt's mediation alongside Qatar and the US for a Gaza ceasefire, detainee exchange, and humanitarian aid. Abdelati stressed the urgent need to halt Israeli aggression, prevent Palestinian displacement, and convene a Gaza reconstruction conference, while urging global recognition of a Palestinian state on the 1967 borders with East Jerusalem as its capital. Egypt's Agriculture Minister Ala Farouk has met with the Dutch counterpart Jean Rouni in Rome to strengthen the agricultural and food security ties during the AU-EU Agriculture Ministerial Conference. Talks focused on seed investment, crop improvement, floriculture exports, and trilateral cooperation in Africa. The ministers also discussed expanding agri-food trade and enhancing collaboration on irrigation and climate resilient seeds. Romani praised Egypt's support for Dutch meat exports and the EU potato seed imports, while both sides expressed commitment to deepening their strategic partnership in sustainable agriculture. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has directed the expedited launch of a public-private partnership, the PPP, for Hurghada International Airport, targeting completion before the end of 2025. And during a high-level meeting in New Alamein City, el-Sisi reviewed developments with the Civil Aviation Minister, Sameh al-Hifni, and Egyptair In-Flight Services Chairwoman, Suhair Abdallah. Minister al-Hifni confirmed that a broader strategy to bring private sector management into 11 key airports is nearing finalization, expected by summer 2025. Meanwhile, Egyptair has advanced 20 spots in global rankings and is continuing its fleet expansion, aiming for 97 aircrafts by 2020. The National Council for Human Rights, the NCHR, has called for urgent reforms to protect women workers following a tragic road accident in Munofaya Governorate that killed 19 young female agricultural workers and injured several others. In a statement, the NCHR said the tragedy on both unsafe transport and the lack of policies in ensuring safe, dignified work conditions for women in rural areas. The Council urged the government employers and civil society to ensure secure transport, enforce labor protections, and expand social insurance for female workers. They also called for an immediate, transparent investigation, accountability, and compensation for victims' families, alongside a national plan to prevent similar incidents. Egypt has completed the first phase of a national satellite tracking program for tiger and oceanic white-tip sharks in the Red Sea. Environment Minister Yasmin Fouad announced the project involved tagging 9 sharks at key sites and collecting biological data for genetic analysis. As one of the first Red Sea nations to monitor apex predators this way, Egypt aims to enhance marine biodiversity protection and support sustainable tourism. The tracking will continue for at least a year to inform conservation and management strategies. The Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities has finished restoring key archaeological structures in the Palaeolithium Tel El Farama, North Sinai, under Egypt's Sinai Development Plan. The project preserved the Palaeolithium fortress, Roman and Christian remains, and the Temple of Zeus, Cassius lintels using advanced techniques. Those highlighted the site's cultural significance and its role in boosting sustainable tourism and regional development. Egyptian archaeologists have uncovered 3 rock-cut tombs dating back to the Old Kingdom in the Qubbat al-Hawa necropolis in Aswan. The Supreme Council of Antiquities announced preliminary findings indicate some of the tombs were reused during the Middle Kingdom, highlighting the site's long-standing funerary significance. One tomb contained pottery, false doors, offering tables, and poorly preserved wooden coffins with skeletons, some marked with Old Kingdom hieratic inscriptions. Another tomb showed a Middle Kingdom reuse, while the third, near a New Kingdom tomb, held pottery and children's remains. Cairo is set to host the 32nd International Quran Memorization and Interpretation Competition from June the 29th to July the 6th, 2025. The event, organized by the Ministry of the Religious Endowments, will bring together contestants from across Egypt in various categories, including full memorization, interpretation, recitation, and special groups like non-Arabic speakers and participants with disabilities. The competition emphasizes strict legibility to maintain fairness and continue Egypt's commitment to promoting Quranic scholarship. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has inaugurated Jumia's largest e-commerce logistics warehouse in Egypt, a cutting-edge facility spanning over 27,000 square meters. The new logistics center is one of Jumia's largest investments in the country and is designed to enhance storage, distribution and delivery efficiency, especially in Upper Egypt, while reinforcing the company's regional market presence. Jumia Egypt CEO Abdelatif Ulama described the warehouse as a milestone that advances Jumia's goal of becoming a leading pan-African tech and logistics platform. He highlighted its smart systems and strategic location as key to faster processing and higher customer satisfaction. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has inaugurated BSH's first manufacturing facility in Egypt and Africa, marking a major investment by German home appliance giant Bosch. The €55 million plant, fully funded by the BSH Global, is set to become a regional hub for operations across Africa and the Middle East. Built to international standards, the factory will initially produce over 350,000 gas cookers annually, combining German engineering with Egyptian expertise. Half of the output will be exported to markets in Africa, the Middle East, Australia, Canada, and Latin America. The facility is expected to create around 1,000 direct and indirect jobs, which are expansion plans already in development. And Egypt has signed final contracts to begin construction of a $658 million phosphoric acid production complex at Abu Tartur in New Valley Governorate. The agreement, witnessed by Petroleum Minister Karim Badawi and Governor Mohammed El Zamlout, is part of Egypt's strategy to boost value-added mineral industries. The project will produce 250,000 tons of high-concentration phosphoric acid annually using local phosphate ore. It is expected to create hundreds of jobs and marks a major step in developing Upper Egypt's industrial base. And Egypt has reached 90% self-sufficiency in sugar and is on track to achieve full self-reliance by next year. And head of the Sugar Crops Council at the Ministry of Agriculture, Mustafa Abdel Gawed, credited the expected milestone to the Canal Sugar Company's factory, which will soon reach full production. He also revealed state plans to build a new sugar factory in the Daba area, which would allow Egypt to begin exporting sugar and generate surplus production. Sugar is one of Egypt's key strategic crops, and officials say the latest progress marks a major step towards food security and agricultural resilience. The Egyptian Meteorological Authority, the EMA, forecasts extremely hot and humid weather across most of Egypt, with moderate heat along the north coast. Light mist is expected on agricultural and highway roads in several areas, including the north coast, lower Egypt, canal cities, and central Sinai. Temperatures are rising slightly, with highs of 37 degrees in Cairo, 32 in Alexandria and Marsa Matruh, 40 in Sohag, 41 degrees in Kena, and 42 degrees in Aswan. Winds will blow intermittently nationwide. And that brings us to the end of our news bulletin, and here is what we've been covering. Al-Fattah al-Sisi swears in 4 new heads of Egypt's top judicial bodies in the new Alamein city. And Egypt to host the first official G20 food security meeting in September. Egypt signs the final contracts for $658 billion phosphoric acid complex in the New Valley. And that's all for now, and remember to stay updated by following Qnews for the latest developments.